Hey everybody, this is Peter with Cooking with Peter. Today I'm going to show you how to make some of the best deviled eggs you've ever had, and they're going to have a mile-high filling in these eggs, and I'm going to show you just how to do it. I'm going to go over the list of ingredients with you to make these eggs, and we're going to be doing a total of 12 deviled eggs, actually 24, but using 12 eggs. However, this recipe is going to have you using 16 hard-boiled eggs. I'm going to go about that in a minute and tell you how I did that. We also have here a quarter of a cup of mayonnaise, and I use a very heavy mayonnaise for this. And then we have a quarter of a cup of sour cream, 3 tablespoons of cold butter. Then we have here 3 tablespoons of pickled relish. We have a quarter of a teaspoon of horseradish mustard. And then later, we're going to be putting in some smoked paprika, salt, pepper, and then some bacon on the top. So let me tell you how I made these hard-boiled eggs. First, I put in a cup and a half of water in my Ninja pressure cooker, and then I put in the 16 eggs into the basket inside of the cooker. I then set the temperature for 4 minutes of pressure, and then we'll be doing 4 minutes of what they call a natural release. So the natural release just takes the pressure off, but it lets the eggs continue cooking. After they have done the pressure release, we're then going to immediately take the eggs and put the eggs into an ice bath. We're going to let the eggs sit in the ice bath for about 10 minutes until they're really cold. And once they're cold, we'll then start the process of cutting up the eggs. Now, as you saw in the video when I was making the eggs, I did have a blowout of 1 egg, which is this. It's not important. We're going to be using 16 eggs, and for the 4 eggs, even if you have a blowout, just throw it here into the food processor. Now, let me show you that this is the plate that I'm going to be using for the eggs. So I'm going to set this here, but let's say you don't have this plate with an indentation to put the egg. What you can do is you can just come over here and cut a very small piece of the egg like that, and what you're trying to do is take that roll off. Look, now it sits there just fine for a regular plate. So if you don't have this and you have just a regular plate, just take a very small amount of that egg off and it will be more stable, okay? Now remember, if you're going to do that, you also need to cut the egg the same direction as your little cut right here, okay? Now we're going to take and just put these yellow oaks into the food processor, and I'm going to continue to do the rest of these, and we'll set the eggs right here. And let me go ahead and continue this process, and we'll come back. Okay, now I've taken the step of cutting up the 12 eggs, and I have 6 of the eggs with 12 halves here. I'm going to be working on this first, and then I have the egg yolks in my food processor. You can also see that I have 4 whole eggs in here in addition to the egg yolks of the other 12 eggs. That's going to be important to give us more filling for the eggs in a few moments. Now here I'm going to put in the mustard, which I have right here, and then I'm going to put in the relish. This is just a dill relish, just right out of the jar, nothing major. And then here I have the quarter cup of sour cream. It's going to go in. The 3 tablespoons of cold butter. This, I think, is going to be the one piece, the butter, that's going to be unusual for most people. The reason we have the butter in there is to help the filling kind of come together, which you'll see in a few minutes. And so now I'm just going to blend all this up until it becomes super, super, super smooth. That's going to take a couple of minutes. Oh, by the way, let me go ahead and toss in some salt, just a bit of salt, and then we'll put in some pepper as well, some freshly ground pepper. Not too much, because you don't want the specks of the pepper to really show through very much. So now I'll put the top on the blender, or the food processor rather, And we're going to blend this up until it's very smooth. I might have to stop and scrape around the sides 2 or 3 times. I'll show you that process. Here we go. Now you might think that's smooth enough, but let me tell you, it's not. So I'm going to come in here and move things around with my spatula and get it off of the bowl, the side of the bowl, and bring it back towards the middle, because we're going to want this to be super smooth, and I'm going to show you why in just a few minutes. I got this idea, by the way. My family and I, we had the fortune to go to Disney World back a few weeks ago over in Orlando. And on the last day, we went over to a place called Disney Springs. And at Disney Springs, they have many restaurants. And we went across the restaurant by Chef Art Smith called Homecomin. And I was amazed by the menu they had. Some of the appetizers were these eggs. They call them church lady eggs, which I thought was hilarious. They also have a chicken sandwich that's made with some biscuits. I'm going to make that for you real soon because I was really impressed by that too. Now I'm going to scrape this down one more time because this is not smooth enough. So I move it to the middle from the side, kind of move it around a little bit because I want it a little more smooth than what you can see. Takes a little bit of time, but you know what? It's worth it. All right, this is pretty much the consistency that I'm looking for. Now let me pull this out and show it to you. As you can see, it's pretty smooth. All right, and that's kind of the consistency I'm looking for. Now, the other thing is you got to taste it. If you're cooking, you got to taste your food. It's good, but it needs some salt. I can really taste that butter too. Gosh, that's good. Put a little more salt in there. We'll add some salt later as we get these finished. But let me blend this up. Let me taste this again. Yeah, really good. That little bit of extra salt really brings that flavor forward. Now, let me show you the next step. We're going to take this filling out and we're going to be putting it into a plastic bag. You could also use a piping bag, but not everybody has a piping bag. So I'm just going to use a gallon size Ziploc bag. I'm going to turn it around like this, and then I'm going to take out the blade and get all this great filling off of the blade. Don't want to miss anything because I'm telling you it's that good. Now we're just going to put this into the piping bag, into the plastic bag rather, which will become the piping bag. You might think, oh my God, it's a lot of filling. And my answer to that is it is, and thank God it is, because it is super delicious. Let me get all this in the piping bag and I'll come back and show you the next step. Okay, everybody, I've now taken all the filling out of the food processor and I put it into the bag like you're seeing right here. And you see I've moved this down as best I can, and I'll probably move it down a little bit more. But what I want you to do now is just kind of fold this over, and we're going to put this in the freezer for about 15 minutes because we need for this to get really cold. And we're going to come back when it's done in about 15 minutes, and then I'll start showing you the next process of piping these into these eggs, putting on the bacon, putting on the other items, and I'll show you how to wrap this up. We'll be right back. Okay, now I have taken this out of the freezer. It's very cold, and this is all the filling you saw me putting together in the food processor. Now let me show you something about these eggs. As you can see, the eggs are about 1 inch in diameter, almost all of them. Some are a little bigger, but most are about 1 inch, okay? So what we want to do is take this bag and we're just gonna move all of the filling down to the one end. Now I'm gonna take my scissors and I'm gonna cut, let me move that back a little bit. I'm gonna cut about a hole that's 1 inch across, okay? Now I'm gonna take this and start to fill the eggs. Keep this tight as you would like a frosting bag, okay? So here we go. Now this is very cold. And we call these, I call them, mile-high church lady eggs, okay? And you can see the reason why I'm calling them mile-high church lady eggs. Just continue the process until you have all of these done. Do those look delicious or what? My goodness. Okay, my friends, just like that. Now, we're going to be putting some bacon on top. Let me tell you how I made the bacon, because it's super easy to do this in the oven. The first thing you want to do is turn your oven to 400 degrees. Then take a big piece of foil and put it across your sheet pan. Lay the pieces of bacon across the sheet pan, and then you want to wait until the oven preheats to 400, and then you want to put the bacon in the oven. Cook for 20 minutes. When the 20 minutes is up, you're going to be seeing very crispy bacon, and we're going to be having the bacon look just like this, very crispy, and then just cut it into small pieces, just like that. And then you can put the bacon right on top, just like this. Does that look delicious? I think it does. It looks very, very, very good. Now let me tell you, at Art Smith's Homecoming restaurant, we paid $13 for a total of 3 eggs, 6 halves. So this is a lot less expensive to make on your own. And then you want to finish this off with a little bit of smoked paprika. Now you can use regular paprika, but I do think the smoked paprika gives it a little bit better flavor, gives it another flavor on top of the regular paprika. Okay, my friends, there we go. And then at the very end, just do a little more salt on top, just a little bit, not much, because that salt is going to really amp up the flavor even more. All right, my friends, there you have it. This is 12 deviled eggs, mile-high church lady deviled eggs, my version of church lady eggs. They are fantastic. They're delicious. You're going to really enjoy these. And by the way, you can see the recipe linked down below, because all the recipes of all the shows that I do, the recipes are available for free on my website. And by the way, you know, we have hundreds and hundreds of people watching the videos, but not so many subscribers lately. So now is the time to subscribe. Join us, join the family, join the Cooking with Peter family, and we can all grow together with this channel. So I hope you enjoy this, and give me some comments. Let me know what you think about these wonderful mile-high church lady deviled eggs. We'll see you next time.